Sri Matre Namaha, Sri Rama Raksha Sarva Jagat Raksha. Before getting into the topic, please like, share and subscribe to our channel so you motivate us in bringing out the sacred content to you all. I'm offering paid consultation or guidance service. If you want to avail it, you can mail me at vibhighrise@gmail.com. So see you there. And also, I'm today going to talk about a specific time frame period which is from 1900 to 1950. Why this time frame period is important and how it is important to you, especially if you are an Indian, and also how if you are not an Indian, and how this understanding of this video will help you in discovering the things about your own place or the location wherever you are at the world. So this is a very important topic for which will help you understanding the particular time frame period. And also this is not just particularly about one country, but this maybe the things like this, similar to the things like this, might have happened in various parts of the world in various time frame periods. So you can actually relate to this video and understand the things which are happening at a larger level in your own location, in your own place, wherever at you are in the different parts of the world. So because I have received the information, or I am understanding more about the origins and the things related to particularly India, so I am going to talk about India. So here from 1900 to 1950. So this particular time frame period, why this particular time frame period, why I'm particularly talking about this time frame period, let's understand that. So this is a time period where in the 1947 we got the Indian independence. So we has a country, we got established we got into our own independence, we got our own freedom back. So we got our freedom back after struggling for so much of time period. So we were all struggling, and there were so many freedom fighters who fought for the country, and there were so many people who have sacrificed their life for the country. And this time period, specifically from the 1900 to the 1950, was a very important time frame period, particularly for the people who are actually resonating with what I am talking about, because in this time frame period the country itself has gone through so much of things. Like we have gone through, as a country we have gone through so many things. So it was not an easy timeline, it was not an easy timeline period for the Indians, and it was a very intense time frame period. So in this intense time frame period, there were so many changes which were happening as a collective. We have gone through so many changes, because before independence there was an intense time movement, and there were some intense phases, and after independence also there were some intense phases which happened to our country, and we have gone through a lot of changes during this particular specific time period. So not only this, there were also some star seeds, some star seeds who were born during that particular time period. So now what is happening is, who are star seeds, who are in this present generation, so some of you might be receiving the information regarding some past timelines which is connected to, or which will be nearly or around this particular time frame period, which is 1900 to 1950. So why you are receiving this as a collective, we have tapped into the collective unconscious of our grids. So when this happens, when the collective unconscious, when we has a star seeds, or the divine beings, or has a divine souls, or has a twin flames, or has a people who are in the ascension journey, whenever such things happen, whenever there is a divine guidance, or whenever there is a divine intervention where we tap into particular time frame period, we access the information and things which are associated with that particular time period. So now I have told you that from 1900 to 1950, so those of them, you can see and check for yourself, and let me know in the comment section below how many of you are receiving this kind of information. So some of you might receive the things which are related to some kingdom or some kingly timelines, where because during that particular point period where it was like more of a the king and queen era was going off, and then we are stepping into a modern India or modern world where already the last rulers of the kingdom or the last rulers of the some kind of a dynasty were there, and they were also working with the and adjusting with the British Empire and the rule of the British, and also the modern things and modern technologies, all the things were coming into the India. So it was a time period where there were also the kings who were present in that timeline period. Or so you might receive the stories about the kings and queens and kingdoms and dynasties, all of these things. And then you can also receive the information about some of the freedom fighters, or some of the fighters who fought for the country, or some of the people who actually have helped this country in getting that independence or gaining the independence. Or you might also receive some of the other stories, some of the normal stories where maybe you yourself might have incarnated during that particular time frame period, where from 1900 to 1950. Or maybe you might receive the information about your own lineage or your ancestors who were present during that particular time period. For example, maybe your grandfather or your grandfather's childhood, or your great great grandfather's childhood, or your grandmother or your grandmother's childhood, or your great great grandmother's childhood, or the people from your lineage who were there during that particular time period of 1900 to 1950. So whenever we as a collective tap into these kind of stories, what we are doing is we are actually experiencing. So some of us are actually experiencing the past. So past which has happened, and past which was very much intense for a country like us. So it was a very intense time period for people, for the people who were in a country, right? So we might have visions or the dreams or the experiences or some synchronicities which could be very much confusing, or which could be very much intense, which might tell a story from a flashback, from a past, or from the older generations. So you might also, as I told you, that you might receive the stories about the kings and queens, and you might also receive the stories about some kind of struggles which people were facing during that particular point of time, or some or has a collective what we were fighting, and we were fighting for our freedom as a collective, how we fought for our own independence, how we fought for our freedom, how we fought for our country, how we fought for our motherland, how we fought for our well-being. So as a collective we fought for all these things. So you might receive the stories of the people who fought for this, or you might yourself be that person who have incarnated during that time period, who fought for the country or the well-being of the country. You contributed somehow to the collective and the well-being of the and for creating that independence to the India. You might also be a part of that. So you might receive the information something like this, and also you might also receive the information such as they were some, and also you might be some kind of a normal household, and all those household or those people have gone through during that particular time period. So it doesn't have to be always larger than life, or you doesn't have to be always receive the stories of the freedom fighters, or it can be also some normal struggles which you have faced during that particular time period, or your ancestors might have faced during that particular time period. So in that intense phase of the country, so many people might have struggles for so many things. So maybe your ancestors, or as a part of the collective, our country might have faced so many things in terms of the survivals, or in terms of the discomfort, or in terms of any or the struggles or wars or whatever it was, which was very intense, and which we are purging out as a starseed or divine beings or the divine souls. So we are purging out all these things because we as a collective we as a divine souls are connected to the grids of the earth. So when we are connected to the grids of the earth, whatever the earth purges from its part, so it is when earth like on whole, when the earth is purging out some part of it, so we all will also experience that purging, because we and earth are not separate. We and earth are connected. How we are connected? We are connected with the earth's unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind is connected with the earth's unconscious mind. So that's how our personal unconscious is connected to our earth's unconscious, and that's how we also have a collective unconscious mind. So whenever such thing happens, whenever earth itself a particular portion of the earth, purges out all the things which were there within her, which were there within Mother Earth. When it purges out, we also will have the divine beings. We first feel it, and then the rest of the people, and also all the people in the 3D, they will feel it. So it's always us who are like a spiritual beings who always feel all these things in advance. So because we are all feeling in advance, because we are all spiritual beings, we who first do the work, and then we help the collective in, and we take the collective in, we hold the collective in a safe container so that they can go through this transition phase more smoothly. That's why we are here, right? We has a star seed or has a divine beings, it's our mission, it's our sole purpose. So it's not only us. They have many saints who have done this. They have been many rishis, or the people who always work for the well-being of the country. They always do this. They always figure out what is actually happening in advance, and then they figure out the solutions, and then they find out the reasons for it, and they find out all the things which are happening, and then they try to see that the collective will be safe, and the collective will be holded in a container, in a safe container, and the safe space provided by their unconditional love. So this was all the rishis and munis back then were always doing for us. So because of their blessings, and we as a country, we are all safe, and we as a country, we are all holded in a safe hands. So these rishis and munis, and they always receive the information from the divine mother and the gods and goddesses of the country, and then they transmit that information, and they receive those future downloads or the advanced downloads, and they transmit that information to the collective, and they actually alert the collective for the things which are going to happen. So this is what is it. So we are sometimes these rishis, they see the past, or they have the ability to see the future, right? So time is not always like a linear. Time is happening right now. So all the timelines are happening right now. So sometimes you're not always in the present. So you always receive some things which are always happening in the past, and past timelines always come, and they affect your present, or some future timelines always come and they affect your present. So this combination and the dance of the past and the future is what creating your present. So until and unless as a collective, whenever there is a divine intervention which happens, we always have an effect of the past or the future on us. Okay, so right now what is happening right now, the current energy is we have the effect of the past. And what is that past? The past timeline between the 1900 to 1950. So whatever the information you might receive, all the information which was there during that time period. So during this particular time period, what I already told you, that it was an intense moment for our country, because we were about to step into our independence. So because some antagonist energies, they did not want that to happen. What they have done is they have destructed so many temples. So they have destructed all these sacred things which were important for us as a collective. So you might also receive the information about some temples were destructed, and you might also receive some movies, particularly so many movies about what has happened in the past, what has happened in the history, what has happened during that time period of 1990 to 1950. So you can receive any year, you can receive any particular timeline or the year which will come under this time frame of 1900 to 1950. So if you're receiving something like that, if you're receiving any particular time period or any information between the 1900 and 1950, watch out and carefully observe why you're receiving that information. First thing. So then analyze it properly, that why you are receiving that information, what you have to do with it. So if you have to heal anything, and if you have to purge out anything to stabilize the earth grids, you have to do that. So there might be so many movies which might have come in the past, okay, which will represent the past, and because of those movies, we as a collective, we as a future generations have understood a lot about the past generations. For example, they might have happened like so many things which might have happened during that time period, and people later in the future generations, they understand that history, and they take out the movies, they make the movies out of it, and then as a future generation, we watch those movies and we understand that what has happened with our ancestors, with our collective ancestors. So all the people who were, it's not only about the personal ancestors, it's about also the collective ancestors. So all the people who were in the country and who were present during that time period, so all these people are our unconscious collective ancestors. ancestors. So what has happened to our collective ancestors during that particular time period, which we might understand has a future generation from the different movies which have been showcased, or different movies which will tell about the past timelines. For example, Lagan movie. So you as a child, maybe some of you have watched Lagan movie, or some of you might not have watched Lagan movie. So what will happen in that Lagan movie? So they will have some kind of a game, okay, and they will have, and it is all shown what has happened during that time period, and how the Britishers came, and how they bet for a game, and then how they will take the help of the divine father, cosmic father Krishna, and then they win the game, and what all has happened, and what all struggles they have faced during that time period. So it was not an easy time period for the people like us. So it was a very difficult time period where you have to sacrifice for so many things, and where you have gone through so many struggles during that time period, or you as a collective. Now here you I don't mean you, actually I mean that you means as a humanity has gone through, as a person, as an Indian have gone through a lot of struggles, as an Indians who were in the past have gone through a lot of struggles. So your ancestors might have gone through a lot of struggles, as a collective we might have gone through a lot of struggles, and it is there in our grid's memory. So it is there in the part of the earth's memory, where we all the things which have happened in the history are already recorded in the unconscious mind of the earth. So now, because the earth is purging out all these things, and we are also receiving as a divine beings, we are also, because we are connected to the earth, our tree of life is connected to the tree of life of the earth, and those of them who are in the advanced stages of the ascension journey, they will receive all this information, and they will purge out all this information, because the earth is also purging out all this information. So you have to see what actually you have to analyze and understand what you are actually receiving, and then you have to focus on what you have to do regarding it. So if you are somebody who is understanding some kind of history, so you can explain others about that history. For example, how people, they will understand that history, and they will make a movie out of it, and then that movie will help other collective humans also, other people in the 3D also, to understand what has actually happened in the history. Because what they understand what has actually happened in the history, they will learn the morals of it, and they will learn the lessons of it, and the history there will be erased. Whatever need to be erased, that will be erased, and whatever need to be carried forward, and that will be carried forward. So same for you, it is also for you. If you are receiving that kind of information, whatever things has a collective, you have to heal, and whatever purpose you have regarding that particular time period, you have to do that purpose, and whatever you have to carry forward, or whatever lessons which were there, you have to learn that lessons. And what if you are a person who have incarnated during the timeline, if it's your past timeline, then you have to go back to your past timeline, and you have to heal whatever you need to heal during that particular timeline. Or you might also have some kind of a knowledge, or some kind of a information, or some kind of a sacred gifts which you were having during that particular time period. For example, I told you that about the temples, right? There were so many temples, and there were so many sacred knowledge which were hidden in those temples, or sacred scriptures, or sacred manuscripts which were there during that time period. And because they did not want the India to get developed, or they did not want all that information to be moved forward, because as a country we were not like this before. We were very knowledgeable, and we were very ancient, and we hold a lot of secrets and wisdom of about a lot of subjects, about a lot of things. So all these secrets and all these wisdom was literally wiped out when our country have gone through all those destructions, and all those struggles, and all those rule of the other people on a country. So when this happened, when the rule or control of the other people on a country happened, they wantedly try to erase the history. They wantedly try to erase whatever which was necessary for us, and whatever scriptures, or whatever manuscripts which were there, or whatever the temples which hold that sacred knowledge, or temples which hold that transmission of the sacred light, or temples which hold the activations, or your temples which will help you in activating your DNA. So they have destructed all those sacred things from our country, so that we don't ascend forward, or we don't move forward, and we don't improve ourselves as a soul. So we don't ascend ourselves as a soul. So all these things have been done wantedly from these people who were there during that time period. So if you are somebody who have that memory of it, and if you are somebody who have that cellular memory of what has happened in the history, and you can teach that history to the other people. So nowadays there are so many people, and so there are so many channels out there who are nicely doing their work, and who are nicely doing their purpose by actually helping the humanity and also helping the collective understand what is a sacred treasure and what has happened during that particular time period and what has happened in the Indian history and what treasure we hold as a collective. All our treasures, that what is the treasure? That treasure is the sacred knowledge, the sacred gift, or the sacred techniques, or the building of the particular temple architecture. How the ancient Indians were modern architects, like they, whatever they have built, like whatever temple construction they have done, now it is impossible for the present generation to do that kind of a architecture or that kind of a construction that was very ancient, and also that was very modern, and what that was highly developed temples which do exist for so many decades. So how these kings have might have constructed these temples with the ancient and highly advanced technology of which the knowledge about which our country already did hold during that time period. So all these things might have wiped out, or all these things might have gone it got erased now. So as a collective, as a star seed, so if you are somebody who have that ancient memory of it and who have that divine DNA of it, or who are purging out a lot of things, or who are receiving these kind of information, why you are receiving this kind of information is because you have some kind of a soul purpose associated with it, or you have, as a collective, you have some kind of a divine mission associated with that. So that's the reason why you are receiving what you are receiving. So if you are receiving anything ancient, if you are receiving anything which is sacred or which is connected to the past India or the past timelines of the country, so look why you are receiving it. You might have actually some purpose to do with it. So that's the reason why you are receiving it. Okay, so that's the, and I gave you so many examples now, because the earth is also purging out it all of it, and you are also purging out all of it. So whenever a particular timeline pops up, a particular time period gets activated on the earth's grid, then it will be very important for all the star seeds and all the collective star seeds, because all the star seeds, they will receive the information, and all the divine beings who are there, all the divine feminines and masculines who are there out there in the Indian grids, they will receive the information about all those things, or they will receive the information about all those things in their dreams or in their visions, or they might receive the information about all these things in their has a movies, or has a synchronicities, or some YouTube reel, something like that. So see why you're receiving it, and see what you can do regarding it, and if you have any purpose associated with that, start your purpose right now, because it's high time we do that, right? So this is what I wanted to say about this timeline and this time period, and let me know in the comment section below if you are receiving all these things or not. Okay, and then also I have made one video on time travel. I've made one video on time travel on my Bogi video. So if you want to know how to go back in time and how to understand the things much more betterly and much more clearly, I've made one video on Bogi and time travel. You can watch that, you can listen to that video, where I've clearly explained how you can go back in time, how you can go into the past, and then you resolve what you need to be resolved, or you cleanse what need to be cleansed, or you understand what need to be understood. Okay, so I just saw four twos. Okay, two. Okay, when I told what need to be understood, I saw two. So now, so you can listen to that video and you can understand like how you actually consciously time travel in your meditation, and you go back and in the past. And if you are somebody who actually have to receive the information about it, you will receive it. If you have any purpose regarding it, you will receive that purpose, and if you have any role regarding it, you will receive that role. And if you have something to unlock within you, you will unlock that within you. So just be alert and be open and try to ground yourself. And also sometimes this kind of information can be really very overwhelming. So sometimes going back into the past and understanding the things which have happened during the intense phase of the Indian independence, or during or before and after that, can be really overwhelming and can be really can actually make you a little bit of an imbalance. But don't worry, you have to ground yourself and you have to be in your stillness to understand and receive and decode all those things properly. And also there can be some beings or some negativity around you which will not let you do your work, or which will not let you be in that stillness, or which will not let you tap into what you need to tap into. So you have to stay away from all these things, say no to nonsense, and stay away from all these negativity or the negative energies, or those of them who are trying to manipulate you, or these the something which is happening in the collective which is trying to deviate you during this time period, the strict action against them will be taken by the divine for them, because now divine is consciously alerting all of us, divine feminines and masculines, to do our purpose and to do our work. And divine already gave us a lot of homework, and something or somebody, some manipulation, some nonsense in the collective which is trying to disturb you, then it have to face its severe consequences. So all you have to, what is there in your control is to not get manipulated by these kind of energies, not get manipulated by anything which is happening in the collective, and only focus on your purpose, focus on what homework divine did give you. So that is more important to you as a divine feminine or a masculine. You have to focus on what you need to do rather than what is actually what you are accumulating from your around, or what things are trying to manipulate you, or what things are trying to deviate you from your path. So you will not allow yourself to get deviated from your path. You will not allow yourself to for any kind of a manipulation or mind control. Be very still, be very alert, be very focused on the divine. So very, very conscious about what you have to do and what you have to not do, and say no to any kind of a manipulation or deviation during this time period, because this time period is very, very important for you to understand your own grids, to understand your collective unconscious, because your collective unconscious is very, very important to you, not only as a collective but also to you. Because when you actually understand the collective unconscious, and when you understand a lot of things. It's not only about the collective, it's also about you. As I already told you in my previous videos, how you are connected with the collective unconscious, and how your mind and your own system is connected with it. You can watch my previous videos about unconscious mind, where you'll get all the information. So don't get deviated, don't get manipulated, don't be overwhelmed by anything which is happening in the collective. Just focus on the divine things, just focus on divine homework, just focus on what divine is trying to tell you or teach you during this particular time period. Because whatever has happened during 1900 to 1950, in that time period, if you're receiving something from those timelines or those time periods, it's very important for you to do your homework and be aligned with the divine, and whatever the soul purpose divine is giving you, do that soul purpose. So I hope you will be focused on your purpose. I hope you will do the work which you are allotted to do, and for which you are born here on earth. So it's a high time. Focus on what's important, focus on divine, then you will not be deviated, and then you will not miss out on anything. You will be walking in a right path. So I hope you will take this very seriously. So this was the current energy. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section below, did you receive all these things or not? Okay, so thank you so much. Shri Ram Raksha Sarva Jagat Raksha, Shri Mate Namaha.